Hey guys, I'm going live both on Instagram and on Facebook. Give me a second. Okay, I am live. Hey guys. Okay, so we've been talking about the home buying process. You guys know I'm going to be doing a home buyer seminar. So just to resume, step one is to get pre-approved. That was a great video with William Caban. You guys can go back on my page to take a look at it. William answers questions for 1 hour. Step two was to do the buyer consultation. And the buyer consultation is with me. It can be done over the phone, it can be done in person, it can be done over Skype or whatnot. And then the third step is to actually, after we do the buyer consultation and I sent you a couple of homes to look at, then we go look at the homes. This is actually my favorite part. I mean, if there was one thing I could do every day, it would be to visit homes, pretty ones though, not ones that need like a rehab. I really like visiting homes. So I had this little poll on Instagram where I asked people, because a lot of people, when they're searching for homes, a lot of them go on Zillow. And then when you're on Zillow, there's a thing called a Zestimate. So let's say a property is listed for like $400,000. You'll have Zillow tell you, oh, the Zestimate is like, let's say, did I say 300,000? Okay, so let's say a home is listed for $300,000. The Zestimate might be like 280 or whatever. So the question I ask people is, how accurate is the Zestimate? Because I've had people where, even though I send them homes from the MLS, they're like, yeah, but the Zillow said. First of all, Zillow is not a realtor. Okay, Zillow is not a realtor. Zillow does not have full access to the MLS. It doesn't always have access to the properties that were sold off market between family members, for example. It's better. The only person that can actually give you an appraised value of the home is an appraiser, someone who's actually paid to do appraisals. So the Zestimate is not 100% accurate. It can be very close in price, but it's not the number one thing. Your realtor is the one that should help you in determining the value of a home, because your realtor can go and look at the past sales on MLS. We have different systems. We're not appraisers, but we do have systems that can help us with that. So if your realtor sends you homes and then you see one of them that's the Zestimate is different, don't freak out. Don't worry about it. The Zestimate can change like every day. Just to give you an example, I have a house that I had listed for $406,000. Before I listed it for $406,000, this estimate was like $450,000. But then the moment I listed at $406,000, all of a sudden now it's worth like $370,000. Like, really, Zillow? Really? What are you trying to do here? Anyway, so let's go to the questions. Okay, let's go to the questions. So one of the questions was, and I get that a lot, what's the best time to visit a home? So there's people that are usually only available on nights and weekends. I try to tell people it's better to visit a home during the day, because when you visit a home at night, you can't really see everything, especially if you're looking for a yard or whatnot, or if you're looking for a condo, you want to look at the view. So the best time to visit is during the day. If you don't have a choice to visit it at night, I always encourage people, try to drive around the area or drive around the home during the day, just so that you can have an idea of what the neighborhood looks like, okay? Another question is, and that's another one that I get really often. If you've worked with me and I see a couple of past clients, they're like, hey, Sarah, you sent me 12 homes and I like all of them. Can we visit all of them? So the question was actually, but I like everything you sent me, all 12 homes. Can we see them all? Okay, so because I know how much you're pre-approved for, because we did a buyer consultation, I'm really able to narrow the homes down to a smaller amount. And most likely you're gonna like a lot of the ones that I send you, because they're in your budget and they fit most of the criteria that you gave me. So I would tell you that up to about 10 or 12 homes, I usually try to tell my clients to limit it to that amount, just because anything over 12 can become even 10, I would say. Like 12 is really like a last resort, but it can be very overwhelming to visit a lot of homes, and I don't want to overwhelm you. I mean, the whole process is already overwhelming. So hi everyone, hi William, hi everyone. Hi Ludis, she's the one for your insurance. She's the one that does all the insurance for my clients. Okay, so if for example you like 12 homes, I might tell you, okay, you know what, 12 is the max. I might even tell you, try to narrow it down to 10 your 10 favorites, okay? But if we have to look at even 10 homes, I'll suggest for us to do it over 2 days. Why? Try to visit 12 homes in one day. You will have a headache. You will be sweating. I mean, your shirt's going to be sticking on your back and you're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to forget about the first home you visited. Usually like doing it all over the course of about 2 days is the best, even 3 days if we can. If we can like dedicate an entire weekend, let's say we do Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, and then Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, and then we're done, right? It's just to not overwhelm you and for you to remember the homes you saw. And let's say you visit only 4 homes, you'll remember them very well and you'll have time to take notes, and we won't be in a rush to visit all those homes, and it won't take your entire day, and you'll have time to eat, okay? So yes, you can look at 10, 12 homes, but over the course of different days, as I suggest. I think that the maximum 6 houses during a day is a lot, like a lot. It can be, unless they're very close by, if they're like really, really close, and even there, let's say 20 to half an hour per house, multiplied by 6 houses, that's a bunch of hours. That's a lot of time, okay? It can get annoying, it can get, exhausting, etc. Okay? Another question, and that's happened a lot. I'm absolutely in love with the first home we visit. Should we continue to go look? So I sent you the list. The first home we visit, you're like crying. You're like, oh my God, I can picture like my entire life there. I can picture my furniture, etc. Should we continue looking at our other homes? Okay. 2 parts to that answer. 2 answers to that question. Number 1, if I tell you, okay, you want to put in an offer right now. If your answer is yes, I'll tell you, okay, let's write up the offer, but let's go look at your second or third favorite after that, just in case, there's another offer on that home. You want to make sure that you have other options. If you tell me, no, I'm not ready to put in an offer, usually when I ask a question, okay, so since you like it so much, that means we don't have to look at other houses, right? Like we can just go in my car right now, we write up the offer, we send it, we're done. Usually people are like, no, actually I want to see other houses. So you have to know, do you want to put in an offer right away? If yes, we could. And if no, then we continue looking. And even if yes, I'll be like, let's go look at your other favorites out of the entire list, because in case, there's already an offer on that property, just in case there's, for example, I don't know, something happens, like it's going to expire the next day. And, there could be different things. So you want to make sure that you have a second or third option. Okay. Another question. I think this home is out of my budget. Again, I'm the one that sent a list of homes. Okay. I think this home is out of my budget. Why should we go see it? All right. So because I work very closely to your lender and to your insurance agent, to everyone involved in the transaction, I have a better idea of what budgets to send you. So if, for example, you're pre-approved, again, I'm going to use the easiest example ever. Let's say you're pre-approved for $500,000, but you tell me, you know what, I'd rather stay like under 5, like I'd rather stay in the 450 range, etc. I might still send you houses in the 500,000 range because of different reasons. 1, some houses can be overpriced and have room for negotiation. Number 2, maybe the house that I sent you for $450,000 has very high taxes and has a very high HOA, a monthly fee. But then the house that I sent you for $500,000 has very low taxes and no HOA. So in the end, your monthly payment is very similar. Again, if I have a price range and I'm sending you properties that are in the price range that the lender established in terms of monthly payment, I'm going to send them to you. So I would never send you a home that is completely out of your budget, that with the taxes and with the payments and insurance, etc., it's not going to work out. So again, I'm always going to work with the lender. I'll tell the lender, listen, there's this home, it's $500,000, taxes are this much, HOA is this much. Sometimes it even happens that a higher price point home has a lower monthly payment than like a $400,000 home just because of taxes and HOA or insurance, flood insurance and whatnot, okay? So yes, we should still go visit it even though it might be a little bit higher than your price point because of the reasons I just established, okay? Who should I bring to visit? Ooh, I love this question. If realtors are looking at me now, how annoying is it when people bring a bunch of naysayers to the showings, right? I did my I did my buyer consultation with the buyer. I know what they're looking for. I know their budget. I know what what brings what emotions out of them. Like if I talk about a pool and they get all teary eyed, they're like, oh my God, I've always wanted a pool. Like I know that because I took the time to do the consultation. But your uncle who bought a bunch of houses during the crash and doesn't know anything about what you want might not be the best person to bring to your initial showing. You can bring them for the inspection. You can bring them at the final walkthrough, but just try to bring people who are going to be living in the house with you, or who won't like that their opinion is going to be constructive, but you won't let their opinion cloud you completely. Do you see what I mean? So let's say you want to bring your parents, right? But you guys know that you don't always get along with your parents. Don't bring them to visit houses, right? If you have a friend, right, that just kind of wants to look at you, I don't suggest that either. Just, you're the one that's going to be living in the house, maybe your husband or your children, those people, or maybe you really value your best friend's opinion and she's always going to support you in what you do, bring her or him or your mom, or if you guys are close and it won't be like, oh no, this is ugly. Like you really like a house and then you have this one person going, oh, I would never live there. Ew, did you notice this? Did you notice that? Like, you don't want that. I've seen people pass up on beautiful houses just because they had like someone that shouldn't have been there, that talked too much, that can't afford a house, that can't live into the house, and that will never live in the house with them. So make sure that you choose well, that you choose the people well. Okay, another question is, can I bring my children? Of course you can bring your children, but depending on the age and how long the showings are going to be, you might want to leave them somewhere with, a family member or a babysitter. So let's say you have like a 1-year-old or 2-year-old, they're running around a lot. If we're going to be looking at like 4 or 5 houses, you're going to get very, maybe impatient, or you won't really have time to start to look at the house as well, just because you have a kid running around a lot. So another thing that I'll tell people is, if you have like a 4-year-old, a 3-4-year-old, I can bring my daughter and then we can look at houses and then they can entertain each other while you're looking and I can watch them. You know what I mean? But if it's just one kid, usually 1 or 2 kids, they might only want to stay with their parents. If I bring my daughter, they can like kind of like play together. And I've had a couple of clients where the house that they found was when my daughter was there. Like for my last client, Jennifer, one of my clients, Yanata. So yeah, Eva is often there when they have children, or if they're like, they don't have a babysitter or they feel kind of shy, they're like, I don't have someone to watch my daughter, then I might bring my daughter just, to make things easier for them. Okay, another question. I'm only available nights and weekends. Does that work to look at homes? So again, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's better to look at houses during the day. And if you want to look at houses at night, like, after work, I suggest you do it before it turns dark so that you make sure that you can see it. Another situation I have is, let's say a home comes available in a hot area where there's always multiple offers and it's like Tuesday and you're only available, like you're working like all day, all week, and then you're only available during the weekend, then I would tell you, listen, let me go take a look at the house before you. Okay, let me go take a look at the house. I'll make a video. I'll send it to you because this one might go super quick. Like Saturday might be too late. And if you have to come during your lunch break or whatever tomorrow morning, or just come earlier and go to work later after, let me go take a look at it so that I can see it and tell you if it's worth it for you to take some time off of work before we put in an offer. I've even had situations where I told the people, you're going to have to I went to look at this house. It's gorgeous, beautiful. It's going to go quick. We have to put in an offer like right now. And the offer can be contingent on you looking at the property. You do have the inspection period. If you end up visiting it and you hate it and you're not feeling it, then it's okay. We just back out. That's fine. But I just don't want people to miss out on a property just because they didn't have time to go take a look at it. Okay. Do I have to wait for my realtor to search for homes for me? Or can I search on my own? So there's 2 things. Of course, you can search on your own, but it can be frustrating. There are certain things you can't see. Sometimes you can't see the HOA amount on different websites. Sometimes you can't see the full amount of taxes with or without the homestead exemption. So the homestead exemption is something that you get when you live in a home, so you pay a little bit less taxes because it's your primary residence. So I can see more things on the MLS. And the great thing about working at Compass is that I have this amazing thing called collections. So if you're a buyer working with me right now, you know that I've been sending you collections. So I curate houses from the MLS for you and I send them directly to you, and it looks like a freaking Pinterest board. It's beautiful. It looks like a board. If you want to get your own collection, just message me and we'll get started on the process. But it's like you have this beautiful Pinterest board of all your dream homes, and then you can delete the ones you don't like, and you can comment on the ones you like, and we can like communicate through that. It's amazing. So it's better if you let me search the homes for you, put them in the collection for you. If you find one home, for example, and you're like, hey, I want to see it too, what I'll do is I'll add it to the collection, to like the real estate Pinterest board. And then you can comment, you can like, dislike, delete it. It's such a cool thing. I love communicating with my clients through that. So one last question. How long does it take to find a perfect home? Well, it depends on you. It depends on how motivated you are. It depends on your timeline. But I would say, if, depending on the budget, it can take anywhere between a week to 3 months or more. I mean, if you're in a hot area where there's always 10, 12 offers, it might take a little bit longer, just because every time you put in an offer, you might not necessarily get it. So that's another thing I want to add that has nothing to, I'm going to talk about it in the next video, but I just wanted to tell you, so sometimes it's not about getting a deal, sometimes it's about getting you in the home. Right? Because when there's 10 offers, it's not about just, oh, let's, offer 30,000 less. Guess what? If you offer $1 less, you're not going to get it, because there's so many offers, right? So yeah, it can take anywhere between a week to 3 months. I have a client that the first day that we went to look at condos, she's the one that I used as an example for a question. If I find it, the first condo I visit is the one I love, what do I do? Do we still continue looking? So in her case, the first one we looked at, she was like in love. Every other condo we looked at, I think 3 or 4 more after, she was like, nope, nothing compares, nothing compares, nothing compares. So we just went and put in an offer on the first one we visited. So let me see if I forgot anything. I don't think I forgot anything. So thank you guys for tuning in. Again, we just talked about the visiting homes, which is my favorite part. If you follow me on social media, at Sarah Does More on Instagram, a lot of times when I'm visiting homes, I'll put it on my story, especially when there's like a beautiful kitchen or a beautiful yard. I really, really love visiting. And one thing that you should know, and that's super important, guys, just write it down, okay? If you're like, Sarah, that looks like a leak. Like, I think there's a leak. Like, I think the roof is done. Am I allowed to be like, yeah, that's a leak? No, I'm not. I'm not allowed to tell you that. What I can tell you is that you can pay a licensed inspector to come inspect the home. Because what you think is a leak might be something else, or it might be a leak. You might be right, but I'm not allowed to speak outside of the scope of my work, which is just buying and selling real estate. So I can't talk about mold. I can't talk about termites. I can't talk about anything inspection related. But what I can do is suggest you to guide you towards the right person who can help you with those potential issues if you want to get more information on them. And keep in mind that someone wants to be in my live video. I don't know what that is. So I can guide you towards the right people that can help you figure those issues out, but also you'll have like an inspection period once you're under contract to make sure that you take a look at all of this, okay? I don't think I have anything else. I think we're good. So thank you guys for tuning in. Next week, I'll be there at the same time. The only reason I was late today is because I wanted to get something to drink, but I didn't even drink it. So I'm gonna drink it now. Thank you, Instagram and Facebook, for tuning in. If you guys have any other questions, just let me know. And I'm thinking of doing the homebuyer seminar probably at the end of September, beginning of October. Let me know which dates would work better for you. And, you guys can come and learn. Bye. Thank you.